Okay, this is kind of back for part 2 of the Desmos, and I want to show you an activity that there's a lot of examples on here for you to look at, but my kids love to do. We generally do it every year, and the difficulty level of our activities just progress through every year. And that's what you see here on this back screen. And if you'll just scroll down, once you're into the Desmos, you see all kinds of activities here in which the kids have used Desmos to make things. And it's, to me, it's just amazing and cool to see some of the things that the kids make. And there's tons on here. Whoops, just slow. I'm not patient enough. Okay. Awesome activities. So if you've got a really artistic person, a really creative person, I am sure that they're going to love this. Now, again, I start this type of activity off with my Algebra 1 kids. And so at the Algebra 1 stage, you know, they really only know several. And so we do this after they've had the different functions. We've done linear functions, quadratic functions, usually absolute value functions, and square root functions. And so we usually have those 4, and then they have to design me pictures that utilize, usually I give them a number that they have to have, you know, so many, they can only have so many horizontal lines, they can have only so many vertical lines. We do talk about vertical lines a lot, and the fact, you know, of course, they're not functions, but I do allow them to do them in their graphing because it just makes it easier. They have to have so many parabolas, both in the positive a value and the negative a value, and then same thing with the absolute values and so forth. Anyway, really cool. The kids love this. I don't show them this here. I might show them one, but I don't show them this entire thing. And when they get in there, they can see it themselves. But I do try to get them, before we get to the computer, before I let them on the Desmos, I have them actually design their own picture to start off with and show it to me without looking on the computer, because I do want them to use their imagination and not just look. You know, a lot of times they'll just look and they're just going to do what that is. And then some of them, once they get to going, they'll adapt their pictures and try to make them more difficult and again, colorful. We do have them do inequalities so that we have the shading, which is great because then they have to know domain and range on that. So an example, just real quick, let me get back up here. Okay. So if you're in the actual graphing app, and I can show you this real quick. So maybe we are graphing y equals x plus 4. And we have that, computer's going really slow. And so if you want them to limit that, then all you do have to do is tell it, you know, maybe I want to go from a -2 to 4. Let's see, you can't see 4 on there. So let's back that up to 2. Okay, and so then again, they do learn how to do, oh, that was a good age. They do learn how to do domain and range. And so if I want a certain domain graph, then we're going to put that in. They can do also the range if we want to do, let's do, especially on, well, let's go back in here. Let me do a x equals, let's do x equals 3. Okay, let's go 2. Okay, and then I want to maybe stop that up there, and so you can see this here, you can do steps, or if you want to, you can just say, I need it to go from 0, let's say, and then just put in your y value to 6, okay? And then you can also limit your y values. Okay, but it is pretty easy to do on the limiting of your domain. So again, had this been an inequality, let's go list, and I wanted to fit that inside there, okay? And then again, if I wanted to chop that, then you would have to go back in and wiggle it. So it's interesting to have them try to figure out how they can do all these limitings. really fun. Anyway, the kids really enjoyed that. So that's an activity that if you ever want to do something to really let the kids be creative, that's a really fun one to try.